play a tune.
Yep, hit the button now. So, hi guys, welcome to the very first reading between the lines, non-book crime or author interview. This time it's with Derby-based musician Ray Hatfield. He was a former member of Martin Turner's Wishbone, Showaddywaddy, and currently a member of the Radio Racers. So welcome to everybody for coming along tonight to listen to Ray play some tunes for us, to hear a bit about his backstory, and to ask some really interesting questions and to get any of your probing questions answered for any of you budding musicians. So take it away, Ray.
Great stuff. Thought I'd play a tune to start with, Lindsay. Why I picked this one, I'll tell you in a bit.
That was absolutely amazing.
Bless you, Lindsay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Nice to see you.
I'm going to start. Definitely nice to see you too. In a internet sort of weird kind of way. I'm going to start with a non-rock question, music question. I'm just going to throw it out because some of the people that will follow this will be book lovers. So I'm just going to ask, do you enjoy reading? Are you a big reader, and what do you like to read?
Well, I think like a lot of people my age, I mean, I used to read an awful lot until my eyes started failing. So one of my great joys used to be reading in the bath, actually. I'd literally just get in there and then read with a good book, you know, and come out like a cold prune. But since my eyes started failing, you know, it's not so easy to read in the bath. But yeah, I've loved reading right from a kid, really. Robert Louis Stevenson as a kid. Then, of course, like a lot of aged hippies, Lord of the Rings, Tolkien as a kid, a teenager. When I go on holiday, I like to. I'm a big fan of the Jack Reacher books. I don't know if you're familiar with those, by a guy called Lee Child.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's a kind of they're sort of a rubbish read. There's no great. You kind of know what's going to happen before you start, but for a holiday they're great because they're kind of just the right length. And he has this lifestyle that I've often thought would be
Yeah.
fabulous. He packs everything into a rucksack. Well, in fact, he does it. He has like one pair of spare pants and a bit of money, and he jumps on a bus and travels around the States. And that's great. Of course, what he does is get into trouble with the local mafia every town he goes to, which is not so great. But the actually traveling around with no possessions thing is pretty idyllic, really. Although I say that, I've sat here in a room full of guitars and stuff. So, but it's a nice thought when you're lying on a beach or if you're on holiday. It's a nice thought that you might one day just kind of put a small rucksack together and just go.
Definitely.
Other books I've enjoyed. I really loved Life of Pi. That totally floored me when it got to the last chapter, but that was more of a sort of a stimulating read, probably. What about yourself, Lindsay? What do you read mainly?
Well, mainly I read crime fiction because I have a blog called There's Been a Murder. So
I love the way you Scott
with Agatha Christie.
I love the way you Scott say murder.
Yeah,
aye.
Murder.
Aye.
So all the Rebus and all the Ian Rankin and all that. That's kind of that's how I started. But I do have a couple of music biographies because I am a big music fan, and I have a couple of old books that I collected as children. It's actually a TV series now being remade. It's Babysitter's Club. It's just one of those ones that I remember reading as a child. So I actually started collecting them again when the Netflix TV series kicked off. So I've got my recollection starting again. Everybody's like, "This is insane," and I'm like, it's not half as bad as what I had when I was a child. I had a collection, but this is only like 7 of them. But yeah, I'm a big reader. I'm a big music fan. To anybody that knows me, that knows that when I'm traveling to work or going anywhere.
Well.
Oh yeah,
Top Baker. Yeah, I remember you made me a gingerbread Showaddywaddy figure when I'd not been in the band very long, and
that's right. Yeah, that was I think.
Yeah. I thought this was actually like the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's kind of it's like
it was the first it was the first cool. It was the first gig that I went to see you guys.
And you got us all in different colour jackets, kind of thing.
That's right. Yeah, I'd seen them a few years before, but it was one of the girls I just joined the fan club, and one of the girls from Dundee had said, "Oh, the boys, you're a baker. The boys, if you want to come and meet them, I'll take you after the gig to meet them and get everything signed." I was like, "Oh, I'd love to do that." Yeah. And then she said, "Oh, they love sweeties and stuff like that. Why don't you make something for them?" So I was like, "Okay, I'll just bake." So I made gingerbread men and decorated it and just made the different members, and everybody was watching me doing it. And
I was like, fabulous. Yeah.
I was laughing. I'm doing this, and I'm like doing it with icing pens, and I'm like, "They actually look quite cute."
I didn't eat that gingerbread man for about 3 months until I'd shown him to everybody I know. I said, "This is me. Somebody's made me a gingerbread version of me."
Yeah. Great. So it's insane. The amount of travelling that these cakes have done. They've been to Aberdeen. One of them went to Glasgow. Actually, it was at college, so it went to Kirkcaldy. Then it went to Glasgow for the gig. I think this was the birthday cakes. Oh my god, that day was just like ridiculous. Yeah. Travelling with these like 20-odd little miniature birthday cakes, and then they wouldn't even I had to give them to Dean to give to you guys because they wouldn't let me take them in. I was like, right, okay. Yeah. So all the joys and the fun, but I'm going to start off with...
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, far away. Yeah.
No. So I'm just going to do a reintroduction that I picked up. So Ray picked up his first guitar way back in 1971 at the age of 11 when his elder brother brought a cheap Woolworths guitar home from school. After sharing the guitar for a couple of months and copying the likes of Slade and T-Rex, Ray then swapped half his record collection for a Fender Strat copy and began to try to emulate the likes of Paul Kossoff, Eric Clapton, Peter Green, Mark Knopfler and Roy Gallagher, of all who remain key influences for decades to come. So at the age of 14, he started to get around with a band called Skint, who included Hey Rock and Roll in their set. Various club and rock cover bands followed during the next few years. And he's always listened out for guitar-driven music, especially Free, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and some of the other prog rock bands in the 70s. He cites Fleetwood Mac's Rumours album as one of his favourites, always on in the car or on his iPod. Favourite guitar solos include Jimi Hendrix, All Along the Watchtower, and Eagles' Hotel California, which is a gig that which is a song he loves to play at solo gigs. It's actually one of my favourite bands that when like rock bands was like the Eagles and Fleetwood Mac. I mean, I went through like Run Reg with the Scottish Thing,
they're a great band,
and other bands, but
some
these
great
were like my
playing.
like the Eagles, Fleetwood Mac. It was kind of the ones that, and the Rolling Stones and the Beatles were a good one, but they were always like everybody liked them. But like the Eagles and Hotel California and a little bit of the Birds, you know, they were like the ones that did the selective ones. Like, you know, you had the Beatles and the bands that everybody could say, oh, we're a fan of them, but there was like, if you were a true fan, you were like the Eagles and Fleetwood Mac and all that kind of 70s, because there was just a style of they went from different kind of like hard, they went like from folk rock, country rock, and just kind of like followed what they wanted to do. Nobody told them, you're going to do this, you're going to do that kind of thing. So I just enjoy that music. So you've also played acoustic guitar and you learned classical, I see, and then you went on to teach guitar and you performed in restaurants and hotels, which I find really interesting, where you find that, you know, musicians that don't just want to be like the young days, they just don't want to be on top of the pop. Well, top of the pops doesn't exist. They don't want to be on the covers of NME. That isn't the reason to get into music. You know, the old school, they really just music with a passion kind of thing.
I'd have been on top of the pops
also,
if they'd asked me, I'd have done it, but they didn't. They asked me to play in a restaurant or a pub. So yeah, so I did a lot of restaurant work. And used to play kind of light classics, you know, cavatina, bits of Bach, and kind of restaurant music. You know, some pop tunes arranged for classic guitar. I did that for quite a few years when I was teaching, but it wasn't because I didn't want to be on top of the pops. You know, I would much rather have been a rock star. You know, but it wasn't possible at the time.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, you actually from this, you in 2005 you joined Martin Turner's Wishbone Ash, and you played obviously 10 years of twin guitar with Keith Buck and then later Danny Wilson, who have obviously a lot of Showaddywaddy fans are going to be on tonight, and they know Danny is either Martin Turner's Wishbone Ash, who will probably be on tonight as well.
I'm pretty sure it's still with Martin. I think I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think we were talking about 2 years ago at Glasgow at the ferry, and we were kind of like,
I remember that,
because they were all like, "Oh, how did you get into us?" And I'm like, "I know Ray and I know Rob from Showaddywaddy."
Yeah.
I think I've got Martin signed. I have a copy of Argus, LP copy, and a CD copy of it, and Martin's actually signed it, which everybody's like, wow, and I'm like, yeah, it just makes it. I've also got the double CD that they were releasing the live CD album, but yeah, it's just my weird collective taste in music has got like my iPad as well, and my old iPhone that I listen to music on is just like completely full of rubbish. It just switches between music that should ever really. A lot of 70s, a lot of 60s, 50s, 80s, 90s, indie, folk. I draw the line at like scream metal, but Guns N' Roses, Led Zeppelin. Everybody's like, how can it go from like Mark Turner's Wishbone Ash to like then Wishbone Ash to Showaddywaddy, then to Run Ride like Capercaillie, and I'm like, just because, and then also Radio Racers as well, and it's just like a mixture of just like world's worst like compilation CD you've got going. I'm like, just some of them are used for certain things, like some are for relaxing, some are for like staying awake at 5:30 in the morning when I'm travelling to work so that I don't fall asleep and end up in say Glasgow or St Andrews when I'm meant to be getting off at Dunfermline. I noticed that you played a 5,000 crowd at High Voltage Festival in 2010, the biggest crowd played to date, which I think sounds absolutely amazing to actually have all those fans just right there for you. I mean that.
Well, no,
There
they
are
weren't.
festivals that everyone wants to play, Glastonbury being one of them.
Yeah, I would love to have done Glastonbury at some point. Yeah, I think I've topped that crowd since then with the Waddies. Actually, we did a gig in Germany last year, was it? Oh, yeah, but maybe the year before. No, I think it was last year early on. We played a massive stadium auditorium gig. I think that was 17,000 people. But we were around there for like half an hour. It was the bat of an eye, but that was fabulous. It was an old retro bands. There was Canned Heat, what's left of T-Rex. Who else was on it? Hot Chocolate. They were fabulous. Hot Chocolate were. And Mud were there as well. So yeah, that was probably the biggest crowd to date. But the I think the best gig probably would still be High Voltage. Yeah, that was fabulous. Mainly because of the people that were on the sharing the bill with ZZ Top for one, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Gary Moore was still alive at the time. Joe Bonamassa. It was a fabulous bill, and we were kind of there for the whole weekend, just enjoying it really. Jimmy Page was backstage. He managed to ignore me.
Oh wow!
In a fabulous style. It's like he gave me a look that. In fact, it wasn't even that actually. I think I now know what it must feel like to be a dog turd, because Jimmy Page gave me that kind of look. You know, when I said, "I'm a huge fan of yours, Mr. Page. You know, I'm pleased to meet you," and he didn't kind of acknowledge me at all. You know, it's like a complete blanked me like a dog turd. So yeah, that was a lesson in how to be a rock star for sure. But he's still, even so, he's still my hero. You know, he's still probably the one person that I would most like to play. Although bizarrely, I noticed you got that question coming up in a bit, but I might as well tell you now while we're talking about Jimmy Page. I had a weird dream a while back. One of those really vivid dreams where I woke up and I thought it was actually happening, and I was in Led Zeppelin, and but I wasn't replacing Jimmy Page, and John Bonham was still alive, which was nice. You know, it's good for him. And but Jimmy Page was kind of on stage with me with the other guys, you know, and every now and again he would look across at me and give me a kind of nod, you take this solo kind of thing. So that was possibly the best ever guitar playing dream I've had. I'm not going to tell you about other dreams. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you about other dreams.
Yeah. I've had the ones where you're like getting the chance to interview one author that you've absolutely wanted to interview, and you're like standing there and they're like, you know, like everybody's like waiting for you to speak and you just can't get the words out, or and it's just like standing there, they're like your worst nightmare kind of thing. So I just wanted to know, so what has been your favorite moment musically? It can be like currently or
whatever it is, 7-8 months or however long it's been, because I don't know, it didn't seem right. But when I dipped my toe in the water the other week, I just really loved it. You know, just to know that there's a couple of people watching, and it doesn't have to be very many. You know, just 3 or 4, and it's just enough to make it more interesting to play. You know, you can play at home as much as you like. It's not the same as playing to 2 or 3 people.
No, I kind of understand what you mean. Everybody's been baking during lockdown, and everybody's like, "Oh, I bet you've been baking a storm," and I'm like, "No," because my cafe job went obviously the COVID that I had, in the kitchen baking and
that was kind of the dream job.
Basically.
I'm sorry to hear about that. Yeah.
And I just kind of, lost a kind of love for it, because it was like everybody else was doing it, and it was like, well, it's just too sad to do it. I mean, I made a couple of my late nan's little buns, and I made a couple of like croissants and stuff, with some puff pastry and things. but it was kind of like, I mean, I've been getting back into it. I mean, made tea tonight, steak pat.
I guess you felt quite deflated though, yeah, I suppose, when that kicked in, yeah.
So the blog and the vlog have been kind of the saviors, which is kind of strange because it's not what I went. Well, I did do that, but I mean, just some things are just too sad, as you say, just to do it, because you just feel like this was like your dream or something that your passion that you turned into opportunity, and it kind of COVID has kind of put a sort of dirty taste to it, kind of thing. But
I'm sure lots of people will kind of jobs, I'm sure lots of people.
I'm just gonna a lot of them. Oh, so I've got a few people asking you to play a song, so I'm going to ask you to play a song.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realise there were people actually watching a song.
Yeah. So it goes live, so they can they'll be watching it on my YouTube page, and they're.
Oh, okay.
Right. No, they can actually watch it live.
Oh, I thought you could edit all that. I thought you could edit all that waffling out and just put the sensible bits in.
No, don't worry. I waffle all the time.
All right.
I waffle all the time in my interviews, so don't worry.
I got a black magic woman. I got a black magic woman. Got a black magic woman. Got me so blind I can't see. She's a black magic woman and she's trying to make a devil out of me. Turn your back on me, baby. Turn your back on me, baby. Turn your back on me, baby. Stop messing around with your tricks. Turn your back on me, baby. You might just pick up my magic sticks. Got a black magic woman. Got a black magic woman. I got a black magic woman. She's turning my heart into stone. Got a black magic woman. I can't leave that woman alone.
might as well play two. Then I want to play another one as well.
Definitely go ahead. Everybody, I think everybody's come on to listen to Ray play music.
I talk to my baby on the telephone, long distance. I never would have thought I could miss someone so bad. Yeah. Well, I really only met about a week ago, but it doesn't seem to matter to my heart. I know that I love her. I'm hoping that I never recover, because she's good for me, and it'll really make me happy to never let her slip away. I feel like a kid with a teenage crush on a school day. I feel like the lead in Romeo and Juliet. Yeah. Well, I'm a little bit dizzy, I'm a little bit scared. I guess I never felt this much aware that I love her. I'm hoping that I never recover, because she's good for me, and it'll really make me happy to never let her slip away. A little bit dizzy, I'm a little bit scared. I guess I never felt this much aware that I love her. I'm hoping that I never recover, because she's good for me, and it'll really make me happy to never let her slip away.
Sorry, that was a crowd of a stadium crowd. That was
Real.
when I used to
Exactly.
play.
Yeah, I'm sure.
When I used to play in the bedroom before, when I was a kid, I wasn't that small. I was probably that small. At the end of when I'd done Jam Along with the Eagles, whatever, I just get to the end and go and imagine what it would like to be in somewhere like Wembley, with the whole crowd going berserk. And
Wild,
one thing which I've never actually had, but when you watch somebody like, say, Paul McCartney springs to mind, and he'll sort of hey, and the whole crowd goes. To do that with one of your own songs must be just such a great feeling. To just do the opening line on one of your own songs and have the whole crowd know it. One thing would be great.
Everybody goes like, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I would just settle if a few of them had heard it before myself. So hit me with a question, yeah.
Yeah, of course. So I've got a question from Peter Lane, and he's asking, if you could have played in any band, who would it have been with?
Well, it would have been Led Zeppelin, but only if Jimmy Page had been there as well, I think. Yeah. So Jimmy and I would have split the guitar between us, I'm sure, because I'm sure he'd have been happy to do that.
Definitely. Yeah.
So I think Peter, I remember Peter, yeah, nice guy. But that's not relevant to the question. But yeah, I think the trouble is most of the bands that I love because of the guitar players. So like, yeah, Pink Floyd, of course. I mean, I'd love to be Dave Gilmour, but only if he was there as well. Or I'd like to be the guy who passes Dave Gilmour his plectrum at the beginning of the night and say, "Here you are, Dave. Use this one," and then takes it off at the end of the night. If I could, I'd roadie for someone like Dave Gilmour for sure, or Martin Knopfler.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's like I'd love to have been in the Beatles, but only if George was there. George was my favourite Beatle. So it's a tricky question for a guitar, but it's a bit like if you asked a singer, which band would you most like to have sung for? I'm sure they would probably say the bands where they like the singer the most, and in that case, it means you're going to replace that singer or that guitar player. So I wouldn't replace Dave Gilmour. I'd want them to be there as well. Is the answer to that?
Exactly. Yeah, you'd want to be in band with that lineup, not like replace.
Yeah.
I mean, in the band. Yeah.
Yeah. Not take Eric Clapton out of it, just to play alongside him.
Exactly. Yeah. So Leslie, Poulin, you'll obviously know.
Oh, hi Leslie. Yeah.
Showaddywaddy fan. She's saying, I know you have lots of guitars, but which one is your favourite one?
That's another good question because I have got lots, too many. So Claire sometimes asks me how many I've got, and I've gone up to hide them around the house now. And I was at one point I was having what I call like a strict 1 in 1 out policy. It was a bit like one of them union things, like if somebody comes in, somebody's got to go kind of thing. So I had that with the guitars for a while, but it doesn't work that way. So I've got too many, and I like lots of them. But the ones out, if I was going to run out the house with any one of these, I don't know. It would probably be this Martin here, this Martin acoustic probably. But I saw a great cartoon actually where this guy was coming out of a burning house with his guitars, and I think in the same picture you could see his wife was there in the window, and the fireman's at the top of the ladder, and the guy kind of passes the guitars to the fireman and says, "Oh, good, I'm glad you came. Take these while I go back for a couple more." It's this kind of wife's frying to death in the window above sort of thing. So, yeah, running out of a burning building is a funny old scenario, isn't it? And I would probably, I'd like to think that I wouldn't take a guitar with me. Although, of course, B.B. King famously went back to save a guitar from a burning building, his 335, and almost died. And he called the guitar Lucille after that, because he wanted to remind himself that the fight, the building had caught fire because of a fight between two guys over this girl called Lucille, and he called his guitar Lucille so that to remind himself that it's only a lump of wood and there's only one B.B. King, but there's lots of guitars,
Yeah, but things have like strange sentimental values that to other people it's just a lump of wood or a pile of paper, but to you it's got some sort of like attachment to it that's that means the world to you, but to everybody else it's just something that you can replace, but to you it's like kind of it means something.
This one here is a Japanese Fender Squier Stratocaster that I bought for I think about £80. Wow. It's I don't know if you can see how badly worn that is. I mean, this one's what they call relic.
I can.
Somebody's deliberately done that, but the marks on this are all me. It was like new when I got it, and that's not me dragging it down a street. That's me being careful with it. So if I was to equate the amount of hours I've played guitar with all and divide it with all these guitars. This is probably the one that I've spent the most time playing in the last 30 years or so. And it shows, you know, it's totally trash, but it still sounds great. I still use it a lot. That's why it's right next to me, just here.
Yeah, I think I've actually seen you playing it. I don't know if you should have recognised that one before.
Yeah, I used it the other night when I was did my first Facebook Live gig. Yeah, that was that one. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I've changed odd bits on it, but the actual body, the main guts of it, are original from about 1984 or something. And the amount of hours and gigs, and I've been all over the world with that guitar. You know, with Hong Kong, and Germany, France, America, Mexico. Just incredible. With that one 80 quid plank of wood, you know, it's incredible, really.
Yeah.
And done so many. So many crap pub and club gigs with that guitar as well, you know, where people have said, "What?"
Yeah. So Lisa Cook is asking, any chance of showing us chord switching from G to C? Is she saying help for a little beginner? I'm assuming she's been one of her little boys is just wanting that.
Oh, bless her. Yeah. Actually, I did say I was going to show her that because, C and G, it's a standard progression. Actually, do I need to move that camera?
No.
Can you see the neck? This bit.
I can't. So maybe I don't know. She maybe can. I'm closer to my iPad, so I don't know if.
I've probably gone the wrong way. I've gone the wrong way there, haven't I? Yeah, so hi, Lisa. The thing you need to know about C to G is what key you're in, because it matters which way you play it. So you can either play it with your little finger on the high note, and in that case, if you're in, say, for example, the key of G, to play C, you only move those fingers. I'm going to show you. I'm going to message you at home, Lisa, and I'll do it with where I can get the neck in a better place. I'll call you and show you. Is that okay? If I do it another day.
No,
if I do it another day. I'll do it another day with you, Lisa, because it's a bit tricky. It's tricky to show you. I'm kind of looking at this and the neck's not in the right place. Sorry, I'll call you up and do it.
Oh, there you go. Just call up Ray and he'll show you how to. Oh, because you actually play the ukulele as well. That I read with your daughter Holly.
Yes.
And also when I was reading up about you also play it said you play the mandolin, as well, which I find really I find really interesting. Obviously because
you're a folkie, aren't you?
I'm a folkie, yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, It was just laundry is getting shoved in the door there. So that kind of like mandolin and all that kind of stuff is very interesting. Obviously I knew about the ukulele. So how did you get started, like moving into like the class from the rock to like the classical to like more of like the folky kind of stuff? Was that
I've always liked folk
or
music.
was that just
no, I've always liked country and folk music. I think even going back, you touched on like heavy metal. I've never really been a heavy rock player. I love rock bands, and Led Zeppelin certainly at the time were considered a rock band, but they also had huge elements of folk in there. And of course, John Paul Jones was a fantastic mandolin player. John Paul Jones, well, a fantastic musician, full stop, really. But one of the many things he could play was a mandolin and recorder, of course. Stairway to Heaven, he played the recorders on the start of that. So yeah, folk music. And Wishbone Ash, lots of folk music influences in Wishbone Ash, certainly the early albums. And I kind of like that storytelling thing, it's there's a song they do called Lady J, which I used to love playing that one. It's about Lady J's grave on Dartmoor. I think it's Dartmoor. And the story is that this girl fell for a lord's son, and they had a child, but he couldn't marry her, so basically he had to kick her out the door, and she went off and died. Bastard! All men are bastards, aren't they? But anyway, in those days, it was that was pretty common, I think, in those days. But apparently, this little stretch where she's buried, every day there are fresh flowers, and nobody knows how they get there. So that kind of story just intrigues me. And there's a Wishbone Ash song called Lady J that used to love playing that one. Yeah. So yeah, I've always liked folk music.
Definitely, I've yeah.
And of course, country music.
So
the
I'm
Eagles
gonna
are. Fire away, Lindsay.
Oh no. Yeah, I know what you mean about the Eagles and stuff like that. I'm just thinking of the time and stuff like that. So
How are we doing?
so we're like 20 past. But I was just going to ask you about the Radio Racers, because that's obviously your current project. And it was just, obviously you have a single out just now, and it's called On Christmas Night. And I'm just going to, if I play a little bit, if people can hear it, hopefully this works. Right, so,
Ho, 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 ho. Sorry, that was live, that was, yeah. Ho, 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 ho.
So that was On Christmas Night. I'm just playing a wee snippet there. So I just want to ask, how did that come about? Well, obviously we know that obviously during lockdown you obviously haven't been playing. I just wondered how the single came about, and how did you pick the charity, because it's so interesting, because a lot of when charities are picked, is obviously either like cancer charities, but this is for the motor neuron disease charity, MND, and I have me and a college friend of mine, we both had personal experiences of MND. She lost her great uncle to it, and my mum's childhood friends died of it a few years ago.
It's
so
a horrible disease.
Really interested.
Well, I think a few of us have seen Yeah, I think the song itself, Rob wrote the song, and a very fine job he did on it too. Initially, it wasn't initially a Christmas song, but when he kind of played it to us, I think Bill was the first to say mention it, but then we all kind of said this would make a great Christmas song. But this was kind of going back kind of in the middle of summer sometime, so it had no sleigh bells, and it certainly had no ho 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 in it at that time. But the gist of the song was much the same, except it was I think it may have been on a moonlit night rather than on Christmas night. But we all said that'd be a great Christmas song, that. So Rob went away and reworked his magic, as he does. He's fabulous in the studio, Rob, and came back with this kind of jingle belly, tinsely version of it. And then, of course, we decided that Andy just had to sing it, because it's great for Andy's voice. It's absolutely perfect for it. Although Rob sang it fine, But so then Andy took it away, added the voice. We added some acoustics and a bit of guitar, some more sleigh bells and backing vocals. Lots of backing vocals in there. And then I think as it was kind of coming into its complete stage, there was a documentary on about a rugby player who was suffering, called My Year with MND. And I think we were chatting about it, and one of Bill's daughters works for MNDA, has done for a while. So that kind of connected up there, and Bill got her to approach them to see if they'd be interested. And they said yes, of course. So that's why we chose that charity. And hopefully let's raise shed loads of dosh for them. It would be great. Because it's a horrible, 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 rotten disease, as you know.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just keeping an eye on my YouTube and everything just for other questions. And I've got a friend, well, a close Waddy friend, Mark, who runs the Facebook page, Mark's What's On Guide to West Lothian. He's just wanting to know, how difficult is it for you as a musician to be away every weekend up and down the country from family, being such a big commitment, touring? And then what is your favourite venue?
Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? Yeah, it's a good question, that. I mean, being away is bizarre because when this lockdown kicked in, the first one back in March, and we all started I think maybe naively, we all thought initially it would probably just be like 6 weeks or something. But then as it became more apparent that it wasn't, and we started working on the Radio Racers project, all those of us who could work on it, you need to be able to work at home remotely and then email the stuff backwards and forwards. So that meant that the five of us could work together remotely from home, and I've really enjoyed that. But sorry, to get back to the question, the traveling, I used to love the traveling, but what surprised me is how I haven't really missed it as much as I thought I perhaps would. So during lockdown, I've been doing a lot of walking and cycling in my local area, and I love it. So I won't be in a hurry to spend every weekend going up and down the motorway anymore, I don't think. My favourite venue, I think, for different reasons, really. Newcastle City Hall is always special. I mean, I love Newcastle as a city anyway, and I love travelling up that way, and I love the people. Newcastle City Hall, a lot of my heroes have played there over the years, and there's video of them. And when you're on that bit of stage, that you can relate to where Paul Kossoff or Rory Gallagher or anybody stood, it feels a bit special somehow. So that's certainly one of them. Sheffield City Hall's another one. I remember going to see Bad Company in Sheffield City Hall. What would that be? That's 76 or something, 77. And so to play that stage is special. My favourite venue, though, yeah, probably the King William at Milford. Actually, I'm hoping to play there again. That's a little tiny little pub close to me. The people are great, the landlord's great, and it's close to home. And I do that on my own. So yeah, but I just like playing. So anywhere, give me somewhere to play, and I'll do it.
Exactly. Yeah. I know some musicians they would stand outside in the street and busk just to play their music again, and we've noticed that a lot in Perth.
I have busked over the years. But of course, nobody has any change now, do they? Nobody carries any money.
There's more of them. No.
Yeah, but, I mean, I haven't used money for months now. I can't remember the last thing I bought with money. So
no.
Busking is, and I have busked over the years. I mean, certainly in mid '80s, during the Margaret Thatcher years, I spent about 6 months when I was playing restaurants as a serious classical guitar player. I was also busking in the streets because I could make more money on a Saturday morning in the high street in Derby than I could 2 nights in a restaurant. It's crazy, really. But I'm sure it's not the same now because nobody has any money. I don't mean we're all broke. I mean no physical cash.
Well, yeah, I think it's less them playing money, you're busking for money, and more that they're just wanting to get out and play music and entertain people. I mean, even Dunfermline, Perth would have it's on a Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, you'd have all the pipers and all that playing, like young laddies playing Old Flower of Scotland and all that kind of thing. This was Dunfermline as well. They had a guy out his guitar just like singing and stuff like that, just like classic rock songs. And I think it's more about musicians now getting out and actually just like being able to stand there and strum their guitar and sing and entertain. But you see people's faces smile, because you couldn't see people's faces, but you could see people clapping or stopping it and listening, and you think, it's more about enjoyment now and hearing live music in any kind of form.
Do you not think it's surprising
rather
though,
than playing
how much of somebody you can recognise by just that bit there with their eyes? You know, when you see somebody in the street and they've got a mask on.
Yeah.
Do you not find it strange? You're only seeing that bit there, but you kind of recognise it. I find I still recognise them, even though I can only see their eyes.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you become so used to, you know certain people, and you're like, oh, that's such and such, and it's, you used to, because it's become what they call the new normal. I think you just get used to. You get used to the person. If you don't see people now, I think without a mask on, then you're kind of like, oh, that's more taken aback now. I mean, when it first started, you all see these people with face masks on, and I'm just like, that's like one of my creepy phobia kind of ish things. I'm like, no, I don't do well with no. And so now it's become like, I think if people didn't have masks on, you'd be more scared than
it's a crazy
people with masks on.
It's a crazy world for sure, Lindsay. How are we doing for time now? By the way, it must be. Is it about time? Is it? Are we?
It is, but so Jean is asking, can you finish off with a Radio Racer song? But I don't know how that's possible without the lads, the rest of the lads, because you're not really a singer, are you? I think there is one song that I think that you sing on the Radio Racers album. I was listening to it on Saturday.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm not a singer, as you say, Lindsay, but seeing as it's Christmas, and I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, by the way. Please download it and buy loads of raise loads of dosh for MNDA.
Oh, Christmas Let's go walking in the moonlight, dancing in the streetlights, kissing when we're out of sight on a Christmas night. Yes, Christmas time again, and I'm coming home. I've been missing you so bad, I felt all alone. Now everybody's playing, singing, Santa Claus is on his way, and sleigh bells are ringing, stars are shining and hypnotizing. Let's go walking in the moonlight, dancing under the street lights, and kissing when we're out of sight on a Christmas night. Yeah, let's go walking in the moonlight, dancing under the street lights. Yeah, we'll be walking, dancing, kissing on a Christmas night. I can take you by the hand, slipping in the snow. You can put your lips to mine under mistletoe. Baby, I want to hold you, squeeze you, do the things I've been dreaming, and I'll tell you I need you. Your eyes are shining and hypnotizing. Let's go walking in the moonlight, dancing under street lights, and kissing when we're out of sight on a Christmas night. Let's go walking in the moonlight, dancing under street lights. Let's go walking, dancing, kissing on a Christmas night, on a Christmas night. Let's go walking in the moonlight, dancing in the street lights, kissing when we're out of sight on a Christmas night. Let's go walking in the moonlight, dancing on the street lights, kissing when we're out of sight on a Christmas night, on a Christmas night. Let's go walking on a Christmas night. Let's go walking on a Christmas night.
Yes, Merry Christmas, folks. And do buy it. It sounds a lot better with Andy singing it, of course. But yeah, that's a great song written by Rob Humes.
Yeah.
And good luck, and hopefully I'll see you in some strange place sometime. And thanks for listening, of course, if you're stuck with it.
Oh, definitely. I've just got one little question from Carol Hobbs. She just wants to know, how many gigs have you done in your lifetime?
Oh dear. You know, I tried to work out by the year at once, because I like all good citizens, I do my tax returns, and generally speaking, I've probably done about 120 gigs a year. Take this year out of the equation, of course. I was probably doing between 120 and 140 between the time of, well, I don't know, how many does that work out to a year? To a lifetime? I must be into thousands.
Definitely, yeah.
Carol's also a great baker, by the way, Lindsay. I mean, she could possibly take you on a few recipes. You know, she makes a mean cake.
Oh,
does
yes.
Carol? Yeah, she's.
Yes, yeah, and I know that Yvonne does some mean fudge and tablet as well.
Oh, yeah.
In Scotland.
And then we get those Welsh cakes as well. They're fabulous as well, Wendy. But
oh,
yeah, so,
definitely. I know. Yeah.
Sorry, Carol. My maths is not great,
good.
but what I can say is it's been a lot. And
yeah,
you know, I'm hoping to still do a few over the next few years, but it's never going to be like it was. And when I first started playing at age about 20, you know, 1980, I could do 5 nights a week at that stage, you know. So it'll never get back to that, I don't think. Certainly not. Well, I don't know if I could even do it if it did.
Yeah. I've just got one more message for you. Just like Wendy Robinson Regan just wanted to say, tell Ray, yeah. Andy and I love Alice Cooper, especially live. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They've all been kind of like messaging to say, like, just saying, oh, just tell Ray, you know, we're looking forward to this. And I can understand that, because everybody's kind of missed speaking to you guys, but you know, backstage after gigs, and obviously
I miss you
because you guys became like friends.
Yeah, I miss you guys, and I will miss you guys, of course, even more so now, because it might start happening again. But yeah, I'm certainly going to miss you guys. Who knows? I might see you in a coffee shop sometime.
Oh, definitely. You're always welcome up in Scotland.
Great.
It's a long travel.
No, I like traveling.
definitely.
Okay,
I mean,
smashing stuff. Well,
there's lots of. Yeah, definitely. So that's the end of the interview with Ray Hatfield. Thank you guys for all coming along to support. I know it's probably been made up of like Showaddywaddy fans and Martin Turner Wishbone Ash fans, and some of my friends on Facebook have been like, oh well, we'll just come along and we'll support you, some other friends. So thank you guys. Have a Merry Christmas when it comes to you, and
thank you. Guys,
try to make it the best that you can in the difficult circumstances we have, and hopefully we'll all get to catch up soon next year, and catch up on all the gossip and everything like that, and hopefully maybe don't know, another musician might pop in to the vlog and be up for doing an interview at some point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you should ask the guys.
watch the space and see.
They might do it. I mean, the other guys might do it. I'll have a word with them, see if I get any other radio racers
Aye,
to
just
do
like
it.
say, yeah, it's good fun, and I'm not a bad person. I'm not going to throw any questions or anything like that. But
did I plug the radio racers at all, Lindsay? I don't think I did I? I feel I should be exploiting the fan base a bit. That's apparently what I do.
No, I don't.
No, apparently that is what I'm doing. Yeah. So buy the Radio Racers Christmas single and make lots of money for MNDA and have a great holiday. Thank you, Lindsay. It's been a real joy.
Problem.
No,
Thank
lovely.
you very much for agreeing to do this. I'm just going to end that now. So end broadcast.